I get it, you're busy, and finding time to create content for your brand or business is a challenge. There just isn't enough time in the day, and because this is all new to you, you have no idea where to start. One of the easiest ways to create a large amount of quality content is to start a video podcast. So in this video, I'm going to step you through the equipment I use to create my podcast and also give you a glimpse into Riverside, which is a tool that I use to record and edit my video podcasts. I've created a number of videos about recording, editing, and promoting your podcast. I'll leave links to those videos in the description below. But today is all about the beginner. And more specifically, we're going to talk about some equipment options that you can use to get started. I do want to share that, in my opinion, one of the easiest ways to start a video podcast is to do it virtually. We'll get to that in a little more detail later in the video. But for now, let's take a look at some equipment options. The first thing you should invest in is a microphone. This is a USB microphone. It means that I can plug this directly into my computer, and although I'm still using my webcam, I have a laptop right here. I'm going to be using the webcam that's on my laptop. That video quality isn't that great, but even though this is a video podcast, it is a podcast. So in my opinion, the first thing you should do is upgrade your audio. Now, if your audio is nice and crisp, you're going to sound professional. You will be putting out a video podcast, but you'll probably also be putting out just an audio version of your podcast. So just by making this simple first upgrade, this is going to get you in the right direction. I've already mentioned, and I'm going to assume that you're using the webcam that's on your laptop, like this one. And if you have the camera kind of low, you can see that the angle on that is not that great. So what I do is I put my laptop on a stand, and in this case, what I can do is I can lift this laptop and I can adjust the camera so it's higher. It's either at eye level or it's going to be even higher so that I have a better angle when I'm looking into the camera. The other tip that I have about using a webcam is that while you're speaking to your person or your audience, you want to be looking directly at the camera that's on your laptop. This is not going to feel natural. The reason why is because you're not going to be making eye contact or what you think is eye contact if you're looking at the guest on the screen. Your eyes will actually be down on the screen. So get kind of used to looking straight into the camera, into the webcam. In this case, it's at the top of my laptop. I'm going to be making eye contact with that little webcam the entire time. And then that way in the recording, it looks like I'm looking directly at the audience. So this will take some getting used to. Use your peripheral vision and just some practice. One trick I use is while I'm speaking, I'll look directly into the camera, but while my guest is speaking, I'll take that opportunity to look down at my screen. I can look at any notes, and I can also make eye contact with the person down in the screen. But you can see that if I'm doing that, my eyes are looking downward in the recording, but when I'm looking directly at the camera, now I'm making eye contact with my audience. If you're like most people, upgrading your audio only isn't quite enough. You also want to upgrade the quality of your camera. Now, before you go out and buy a new camera, I'm going to suggest that you just use your phone. The cameras on these phones are spectacular, and I'm going to show you, I have an iPhone and I'm also in the Mac ecosystem. Depending on the ecosystem that you're using or the type of phone that you're using, this is probably possible as well. But what I'm going to do is I have this tabletop stand. I'm going to place links in the description down below to all of the equipment that I'm sharing with you today. But this tabletop stand is adjustable. It can go higher and lower. It also has a MagSafe mount on here. So all I have to do is take my iPhone. I'm going to place it on this mount, and then I'm going to place this camera right behind my laptop. Let's pull this forward so you can see what's happening here. And then all I have to do is plug my phone into my laptop. This is going to make it so that my computer will automatically detect that I have a new camera, and now I have higher quality video or higher quality camera that I can use for my video podcasts. So for this next portion, if for some reason you're unable to use your phone as a camera, you can also purchase any third-party camera. I prefer to use the Sony a6700. I pair it with the 16mm lens that gives me a nice blurry background. And with this setup, I'm also going to use something called a capture device. Now, the Streamer X is the capture device that I turn to. You can plug a microphone and a camera directly into this device. And now keep in mind, the microphone will need to be an XLR microphone. I did suggest a USB only microphone earlier, but there are plenty of microphones out on the market that have a USB and an XLR option available. Now, we're starting to really get into more of an intermediate type of a setup, but this is really nice if you want a higher quality third-party camera paired with a high quality microphone. The Streamer X, all you have to do is plug it into your laptop or your computer. You just select it as the option here in Riverside, and now you're going to have an even more professional looking option for audio and video. What you're looking at right now is the dashboard that you're going to see in Riverside before you start recording. So you'll want to enter your name, whether or not you're using headphones. I'm not using headphones. And before I join the studio, what I'm going to do is go over here, and this is the drop down where I can change my camera. Right now I have my iPhone camera. You can see what that looks like, or you can change it to the webcam. But this is how you select your camera type here in Riverside. Now, keep in mind that this is the same for any virtual recording software. So if you're not using Riverside for some reason, or if you're using any other tool, you should have these options available to you. And just like the camera, you can also go in here and select your microphone. So you can see right here, I do have a USB microphone attached. I can select that as my audio source, or I can use the microphone on my iPhone. The microphone in your MacBook Pro or your laptop, whatever your onboard microphone is like, is probably going to be similar to the iPhone or phone microphone that's connected. So in this case, I would actually choose whatever audio source that you're going to be using as your microphone. So once all of that has been selected, let's go ahead and hop into Riverside. Now, there are a couple of different settings here that I just want to walk you through when it comes to recording using whatever equipment you have. So first of all, down here at the bottom, if you want to make any changes to your mic or your cam, you can do so down here below for those inputs. Before you start recording, here's the record button. But over here on the right-hand side, just some things to consider while you're recording is you can enable noise reduction and echo cancellation. Now, I am just recording by myself here, which you can do if you have a video podcast. If you have a guest, then Riverside is also going to show you settings for that person. So before you hit record, make sure that you go in, turn noise reduction on, turn echo cancellation on, and then all you'll do is hit the record button before you start recording. One of the reasons why I recommend using Riverside over other platforms is because it's going to give you higher quality video and audio files to work with before you distribute your podcast episodes. So the way that this works is that you are streaming and you're speaking to another person or people as guests on your podcast, but all these files are being recorded locally. And what that means is all of the files that are going to be captured for me will be recorded on my computer. All of the files for your guests will also be recorded, but they'll be recorded locally on their computer, and it's going to go through an upload process. So what you want to do is before you stop the recording with your guest, you're going to end your recording, wait until all those video files upload and they're 100% uploaded. You'll get a little notification in Riverside when this happens, and then you know that you have captured the highest quality files that you can use for editing. The reason why I recommend recording virtually using a tool like Riverside for your video podcast is because we have all been joining video conference calls for a long period of time. We're comfortable, guests are comfortable. I think it's really easy if you send people an invite link to come record with you in a virtual recording studio like Riverside. Well, it's not going to be stressful. Everybody knows how to do it. So this is the main reason why I also recommend starting your podcast podcast virtually is because it's easy to get set up no matter what equipment you decide to go with. You can get your video podcast recorded, edited, and distributed in a very easy way. And this is what it looks like and sounds like just using the camera and the microphone that's on my laptop. This is what it looks like recording using a webcam, and also what it sounds like using a USB mic that is plugged in directly into my laptop. This is what it looks like using my iPhone as my camera, and I am still using the USB-C mic, but this is what it looks like by upgrading to an iPhone camera, and also what it sounds like by using an upgraded microphone that's plugged directly into your computer via USB-C. And this is what it looks like using a third-party camera like the Sony a6700 paired with an XLR microphone. Now, this particular XLR microphone can also be used as a USB microphone, but in this case, I have both the microphone and the camera running through the Streamer X, and this is how you get even higher quality audio and video recording for your video podcast. And of course, there is an entire post-production workflow that goes into all of this. I'll place links to those videos down below. You can do all your editing directly here in Riverside. There's a bunch of AI tools you can take advantage of and so much more. So if you're ready to start your video podcast, then now you know what type of equipment to use. You know a great tool that you can potentially use to do that recording. And as a matter of fact, if you want to try Riverside out for free, you can do so by clicking the link down in the description below. And if you want to use it long-term, you can use a coupon code CREE for 15% off. No more excuses. It's time to get that video podcast launched. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit the thumbs up down below. And if you enjoy content like this, then I invite you to subscribe. Thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll see you again in the next video.